feel good? Really, we don't even need any more. We can just now go down and have cookies. Okay, but I've got something prepared, so might as well tell you about it. Well, I know, or I think, most of you will remember that from time to time I mentioned that I have to be careful about the talk titles that I choose because something usually comes up in my life experience the week before I give that talk that reflects the title in some way. And that's often a good thing. I mean, sometimes it's something that's obviously good and I get to share it with you. And then sometimes it's a challenge that appears and sooner or later turns into something good and I get to share it with you. And though I prefer the obviously good, like most of us do, what I've learned about challenges that sooner or later turn into something good is that the sooner or later depends on me. That it's on my timing. On the time it takes for me to let the good that's always there, always present, always vibrationally behind and beneath and within and all around whatever is going on. It's the time it takes for me to allow it to come forward from the invisible, vibrational, creative field of the universe into visible, physical experience in my life. That said, nothing like that happened this week. Nothing seemed to be obviously related to the talk title. But mostly that's because until last Thursday, I thought today's talk title was something completely different. Yeah. And though today's talk title, Call It Forward, is a really good one, I spent a whole lot of time on Thursday wondering what I might have had in mind when I added it to the talk titles for June. And I wondered, and I wondered. What eventually came to mind was those 2D patterns or images that back in the 90s we all seemed to spend a lot of time staring at to see if a 3D image would come forward into our view if we stared long enough. Remember those? Some of you do. And I think the popular ones were made by a company called Magic Eye. And I even used those, they're called audio stereograms when they're not called Magic Eyes, as an example in one of the chapters in my book, Unlimited Visibility, which was written in the 90s. And it was a good example at the time. It's a very current example at the time. But I have to say that even though I am certain that the spiritual truths contained in that book are ageless and get deeper over time, a lot of the examples I used back then are probably pretty outdated right now. So if you don't remember Magic Eye or my book, it's okay. I'll explain by saying that it was a repeating, subtle pattern that was 2D, it was a 2D image on a piece of paper. Sometimes there was a whole book of them. But by slightly unfocusing our eyes as if we were kind of looking through that 2D image, which is to say, if we stared at it in a specific way, mostly just by relaxing our eyes, a 3D image would emerge like magic. An animal, a tree, just something. And it was so fun to see it come forward from what seemed to be chaotic nothing into this form that was always something fun. Which brings us to the title of today's talk, which comes as no surprise to any of us, including me, now. Call it forward. We live in a multi-dimensional, spiritual, vibrational universe. And we are multi-dimensional beings within it. Which is to simply say, what we see isn't all we get. What we see physically and spend a whole lot of time staring at is just the tip of the iceberg of what's available for us to call into view. Ancient sacred texts tell us, and we already know, that we are spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings. And we know that by the way we feel. We know that by the dimensional being that we feel like we are. We're just currently having a three-dimensional experience. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. Those ancient texts tell us that the things that are seen came into being out of those things which are unseen. That what we see isn't made out of the things that are visible. We too, all of us, are not made out of things that are visible to us. We came into being out of those things which are unseen and vibrational and spiritual. And the greater part of us, the spiritual within us, remains non-physical, but it's still present because it's who we are. All that we see physically, our physical body and the world around us and each other, comes forth into visible three-dimensional form from the invisible fourth and fifth and sixth dimensions that exist vibrationally, the unseen. Our emotions are vibrational, even though we feel them and experience them in our body. Our thoughts are vibrational, even though we seem to experience them in our head. Science Mind tells us everything in the visible world is an effect. Back of all effects, there are ideas which are the real cause of these effects, including all of us. We can't see ideas or thoughts, but they're the cause of what we do see physically. We experience the effect of our ideas, the effect of our thoughts about life in the forms and conditions and situations we call our life and we call the world around us. But even though we can't see the spiritual vibrational flow of life in which we are immersed, that flow is present everywhere, including within us, wherever we are. It's the greater part of us that brings along our physical body so that we can see each other. We could say that we feel its presence in us and around us through our emotional Geiger counter. And that vibration, that universal, spiritual, vibrational beingness feels us too. And it responds to us according to the vibrational signals we send out. And we're sending them out all of the time. And those signals determine what we call forth into our experience in this world. We call it forward. Abraham Hicks tells us What you are living is the evidence of what you are thinking and feeling every single time. It can't get there without an idea from us. In other words, our life right now is the evidence of what we've called forward into three-dimensional form from the vibrational dimension of infinite possibilities for expressing life. This is what we've done. This is what we've called for. We can't separate what we're thinking about life from the life we're living. It's all one thing. Our life in every moment is the evidence of what we're thinking about and how what we're thinking about is causing us to feel. It can be very good. It can be a very good thing. But we can't feel bad in any moment and attract something good. And we can't feel good in any moment and attract anything but good. And the thing is that our moments are cumulative. We go from moment to moment to moment, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and they add up. And they cause our life, whatever we're experiencing, to trend in a certain way, toward what we want or toward what we don't want. One bad moment doesn't need to turn into a bad day, but it will, unless we turn away and focus on the good we want. Our focusing on the good and the good feeling, our focus brings, in fact, is the only way that we can call into our view and experience what we want. If we just keep focusing on what we don't like about ourselves and others and the world, if we just keep listening to all the bad news that the news has to offer, a bad moment can turn into a bad day. And a bad day can turn into a bad week and year and a bad rest of our life so far if we don't call forward something better with our focus on something better. We can't change the world for the better unless we call forth something better for us to see. We are the energy that calls it into view. That's why if we want to experience something different, we can't do it by trying to change what's already here, what we physically see or what we're physically experiencing. The physical is the effect of what we've already been focusing on. It's the results. Our three dimensions are the results of our thoughts. We often think, and so often say and act as if this world is doing something to us. But we're the one, every single time, that is calling our experience of the world forward so that we see it physically. Sometimes others don't see what we see. Sometimes we don't see what others see. But we are each individually calling forward the images that we see, and collectively through our agreement on what is real and what is true. If we want to change any aspect of our life, it's up to us to call forward from the yesness of the invisible, vibrational into the physical dimensional, into the visibly dimensional. Through our focus on the solution, not the problem, the happy thing, the happy something, the peaceful thing, the peaceful something, the loving thing, the loving something. That needs to be our focus. If we continue to believe that the three-dimensional problem we're focusing on is the only reality, then it will be the only reality. It's not going to change without us. Until we look beyond what we see, through what we see, to the realm of pure positive energy within us that creates worlds. When we call it, knowing that what we want is within it, a new three-dimensional image must come forward. It always says yes to us. But we've got to know it's there. It's almost as if we've got to look through this three-dimensional world and know that there's something behind it and something within it and something around it that is answering our every call. We said all this month, and we said it this morning in our opening affirmative statement, the power of the universe supports our happiness in every way, in every way. It provides the way for us every day. And the way is easy and without struggle. Abraham Hicks tells us, you've got to give yourself a break now. Not by saying, oh, I've tried so hard. I must be virtuous in some way. That's not what we mean at all. You've got to stop trying, because you're not the energy factor. The energy factor is the source factor. That's the energy. You're not the momentum factor. The law of attraction is the momentum factor. Truly, there's nothing for us to do. Got the energy, got the momentum. What we are, you are the focus factor. That's all you are. You're the focusing factor, and you can focus on what is less satisfying or more satisfying. And once you get that, oh, you'll feel like the most blessed person on the planet. It will feel to you like there's a concierge in the sky, just moving ahead of you, just making sure everything is just right for you. Let's call it forward. Namaste.